Drawing this magical little one may be easier than you think. I will take you through each step and you will improve your drawing and also your Procreate skills. I'm drawing on 9 by 9 inches. More tech details, some very useful drawing tips, and my nature brush set you can find on my Patreon, so definitely check them out. We start with coloring. Sketch won't be a part of your final drawing, but it's a good helper to have an idea about the main shape, so grab my sketch on my Patreon and use it as a guideline. If you want to watch how I created this sketch, watch this short time lapse. I'll leave the link below the video. Let's get started. Tap on the N here and lower the sketch opacity. Create a new layer and move it beneath the sketch. Select a very gentle orange or beige color. I use a 6B pencil, but with some adjustments. Tap on the brush, slide to the left and duplicate. You also keep the original. Tap on the new brush and on the properties. And here increase the maximum size. Draw the face and this ear. This brush makes a lovely texture on the edges, like real pencils. Turn on the sketch and fix if needed. Create a new layer and move it beneath. Draw the second ear. Using more layers allows you to handle all shades and edits more easily. Create a new layer above and tap on the clipping mask. This keeps your drawing just in the shape below. Select a dark red color. Tap on the N here and select the multiply option. Draw a bit of shade inside the ear. Tap on the smudge tool and using wine charcoal, smudge it slightly. Create a new layer above the face, tap clipping mask. Draw shade also here. Create a new layer and move it to the bottom. Select green color. Draw the hair and body. You don't have to be precise, it can have any shape you like. Draw a base for the grass and flowers. Create a new layer below the sketch and draw also over the head. Now create another layer and select a different green tone and use any nature brush you like. My brush set you can grab on my Patreon. Select Grass Stamp 2 and tap. Maybe a bigger size. And maybe here a smaller one. Now play with it. Tap on the lasso tool. Here freehand and the color fill turn off. Circle this part, tap on the arrow tool and fix shape or placement. This freeform option doesn't keep the ratio, uniform does. And this warp option allows you to change the angles or perspective. Create a new layer, select different green tone and my plant stem. Make another one in a new layer. You can match those layers. Create another layer, another green and my flowers brush. You can use it as a brush or as a stamp. Use different brush sizes. Or try a single flower brush. It also works like a brush, but I like using it like a stamp. Create a new layer below the flowers, select a darker green and leaf brush. You can play with each one. Or use it like a brush or stamp. This brush randomly changes direction and tone as you use it. Draw also on the bottom part. I want to move this part a bit. I like to use this tool, Magic Wand, Liquify and Push option. Here select the size of your movement and push your drawing. I also need to fix this part. Be sure you are working in the right layer. Create a new layer above the body and select the brighter green and my other leaves brush. Using many different types of nature and plant brushes, different brush sizes and colors, you build volume and texture. Now use also darker green. Switch to the flowers brush. And use a brighter color. And also darker. Turn off the sketch. Merge those two layers and create a new one above. tap on the clipping mask. Select the dark green multiply option and medium airbrush. Draw a shade at the bottom part. And also on the hair. Create a new layer for the twig. Select the brown color and 6B pencil. Maybe rather move the layer above the face. If it disappears here, just cancel the clipping mask. Create a new layer and tap on the clipping mask. Select the bright brown and grunge brush. It has a nice texture. And also even brighter. Maybe a bit of soft orange. In a new layer with clipping mask, use dark brown. We build nice texture here using more different brushes and colors. Switch to the 6B pencil and add a bit of touch. Also with bright color, add some details. If you have fun so far, try more my tutorials or quick fun sketching practice. Join me on my Patreon and YouTube channel. Switch to the dark color and draw along the bright lines and details. Make this texture stronger. Smudge it slightly. Turn on the sketch. Create a new layer above the body layers and tap on the clipping mask. Select dark green color and medium airbrush and draw a bit of shade under the twig. Create a new layer below the sketch. Turn off the sketch if you want. Select face color and 6B pencil. Draw the hand. Maybe use a bit darker color for now to see the edges better. Feel free to use any tools if you need to fix the shape or placement. Or even use an eraser a lot. My favorite brush here is medium airbrush. Slide the hand layer to the left and duplicate. Tap on the bottom one and fix the placement. Maybe also shape a bit. Tap on the shade face layer and draw a shade behind the hands, using darker red color and medium airbrush. Also under the hair. Soften it with an eraser. Also fix the shade on the body if you need. Back to the hands. Create a new layer, clipping mask. Select face color and drag the color in. You can merge this color with the hand layer and do the same for the second hand as well. If you need to fix the shape, switch to the 6B pencil. So sorry for the lightning issue. I dropped an explanation on my Patreon, so check it out. In a new layer, draw lines between fingers. Smudge it slightly. Draw the shade on the bottom part. And use the smudge tool again. Maybe a bit stronger. Do the same on the other hand. Turn on the sketch, tap on the body layer and draw braids, or any funny hairstyle. Turn off the sketch and fix if needed. Use also darker color to build some volume. And brighter color as well. Do the same on the second part. Use more tones. Use also flowers brush or any plants brush you want. When you hold your finger on the screen, it shows you the same color. Use also my fruit brush 5. It's great for grass. Draw anywhere you think is nice, use more colors and brush sizes. I speed it up a bit. Do the same also on the hair layer. Turn on the sketch and create a new layer above the face. Select the white color and medium airbrush. Draw the eyes. And in a new layer, using dark orange color, draw the nose, just a simple rounded line. Using an eraser, soften it. Draw the nostrils and soften them as well with an eraser. Create a new layer below the eyes, select dark red or orange color and draw the shade around the eyes. Soften it with an eraser. I like using an eraser for more precise work rather than drawing. Let me know in the comments if it works for you as well in this way. Select a very dark color and make one more line very close to the eyes. Create a new layer above the eyes and tap on the clipping mask. Select the red or orange color and draw the gentle shade inside the eyes, on the edges. Create another layer clipping mask. Select black color and draw the pupils. Turn the sketch on and off as you need. Select the nice green color and the noise brush. Draw the iris. Use also a very bright color and small brush size. Switch to the medium airbrush and draw tiny dots inside the eyes. And with a bigger brush size, draw a touch of light. Tap on the face shade layer and draw a bit of shade behind the nose. Fix with an eraser if needed. Tap on the nose layer and draw the smile. Soften it with an eraser. Focus on more details on the face, what it needs. For example, create a new layer above and draw stronger shade on the ears. And maybe a hint of the eyebrow if you want. Create another layer and select the bright orange color. Tap on the N here and select Add option. Using a bigger brush size, add a bit of highlights. Now small brush size, draw around the nostrils. And on the top of the nose. Maybe around the eyes. Or even on the ears. maybe on the nose stronger. And smudge it slightly. Lower the opacity a bit. Tap on the shade twig layer, select dark color medium airbrush and draw the shade under the hands. Create a new layer above the face highlight and select my full brush. Draw the eyelashes. I want to fix this part of the hair. Feel free to make any adjustments anytime you need. Now we add some cute details to the hair. Create a new layer between flowers and plant hair layers. Draw the mushroom. I like this kind, but feel free to draw whatever you like. And also those white dots. And a bit of light here. Maybe also another one. Follow your own creativity. I'm going to draw some blue flowers here. Add some details using a darker color, define the shapes. And maybe also some pink flowers. Those details can be also very loose, just a hint, or even super detailed if you want. It's up to you. Now the leaf on the twig. Create a new layer above the twig, select the ring color and 6B pencil. Draw the leaf. In a new layer above, add some details using a darker color. Maybe smudge it slightly. And draw again, maybe on the edge, create some volume here. And also draw some bright details. This can be a nice drawing practice. Feel free to draw more leaves in any colors, shapes and angles. Now the background. Create a new layer at the bottom. We will try more colors. Start with the very bright green and grunge brush. Now add darker green on the bottom on the side. Try to add some blue tones. Maybe also soft yellow. Or even darker blue. Smudge it using a big brush size. Add more soft tones. Smudge it again. Create a new layer above and select a nice green color. Draw some spots. And also with darker. Smudge it. Try even darker. We are just playing with the tones and colors here. And maybe even darker. I like this darkness here, so make one more round, even darker, mostly behind the spring fairy or this is cutie. I keep both backgrounds layers. Create another layer above. Select a bright color and 6B pencil. Draw some loose spots, very rough. Tap on the magic wand, the Gaussian blur, and drag your pen to the right to blur the spots. Lower the opacity and select the Add option here if you didn't before. Create a new layer above, select bright orange color and the grunge brush. Draw mostly in this corner or side. Again, select the Add option. Smudge it slightly. And maybe also here. We build depth and some kind of dimension in the background. Play with the colors. On my Patreon you can also find dark blue or night colors and how to change them. Create another layer and the Add option. Using the 6B pencil, draw a few spots around in different sizes. Apply the Gaussian blur. Maybe lower the opacity. Create a new layer at the top. Select the dark red color. Hit the multiply option and the medium airbrush. Draw the shade across the fairy and the twig. We are creating the feeling that the light comes from behind. Play with the opacity. Maybe erase some parts on the edges. Create a new layer below the body. Select the Add option, bright yellow color and the noise brush. Draw around the fairy and twig. Apply the Gaussian blur. Lower the opacity. Create a new layer at the top. Select the Add option. Draw highlights on the twig and the fairy, everywhere the light can touch. Blur it and lower the opacity. Maybe fix with an eraser if needed. Also fix the bottom highlights if needed. Focus on this shade layer, I like it stronger. Tap on the highlights layer and add some sparkle to the eyes. And maybe on the hands. Dive into this part, make it magical. Use different brush sizes. All those leaves and flowers should be illuminated. I like those tiny sparkle dots around here, so I will add more of them. And maybe this shade even stronger. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed this drawing. Feel free to share your spring fairy and tag me so I can see it. Try more of my tutorials and also join our drawing challenge on my Patreon. See you next time.